Audio test testing 1, 2, 3. Audio test testing 1, 2, 3. Council audio, we do have a connection. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer with the Board of Public Works for today, Friday, November 4th, 2022. We should get started by 10:08, 10:10 at the latest. We do have a very special day today, recognizing and participating in a ceremony for our motor sweeper operators. We will get to those candidates and those graduates in a few minutes. First, I will go through the list of those that are presenting items today, and then we'll come back to our motor sweeper operator graduates. For item number 1, we have Nor Malhis. Nor, good morning to you. Item number 2, we have George Huang. George, I believe I added you already. Yes, I see on the panel. Thank you. Item number 3, Nicholas Tran and Chunmei Liu. Nicholas, good morning to you. And Chunmei, once you receive the invitation, if you can just please accept our invitation so that we can add you to the panel. This is for item number 3. And Nicholas Tran, I do not see Nicholas Tran on the signed in just yet. So we will move on and we will get back to Nicholas in a few. Item number 5, Norman Tanyata. Good morning to you, Norman. And I believe Devin Satorsky may join us. And then did you want me to add Lolita?
Oh, no, that is fine. She's actually off today.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Item number 6, Chris Jensen and Patricia Fuelas and Mark Gutierrez. Chris Jensen, do not see Chris on the line, and do not see Mark Gutierrez on the line. Patricia, are you okay taking the item on your own?
I'll be okay taking my item on my own, but I think Chris is going to be signing in very soon.
Okay. Well, the good news is that we have a graduation, so that will probably take a good 20 to 30 minutes at minimum. So he has some time.
Very good. Thank
All right,
you.
Thanks. And your item number 6, so it'll probably be around 11:15-ish.
Okie doke. Okay.
All right,
thank you.
Bye. Item number 7 will be presented by Ethan Wong. Good morning to you, Ethan. You should receive that invitation to join us as a panelist in the next 5 to 10 seconds. This is for item number 7. Item number 8, Edward Arrington. Edward, I saw you a little earlier. Good morning to you. There you are. You should receive that invitation to join us. Item number 9 and 10, Alan Tran. Good morning to you, Alan.
Good morning.
You should have received the invitation. You're there in the panel. So
Can
the board consider taking both 9 and 10 together, or are they two completely separate topics?
They are the same for the Green Acre Farm related, so
okay,
we can take both together.
I will make that request, and hopefully the chair will say yes.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Item number 11 and 12, Clint Mink. Clint, good morning to you. You should receive the invitation to join us for items 11 and 12. And the same question to you, could the board consider taking both 11 and 12 together if the items are related?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I will make that request. No guarantees, but we'll make the request to the chair.
Thank you.
Thanks. And then the last item, George Garcia. George, good morning to you. As usual, it will be a long meeting, so thank you again for your patience.
Fernando?
Yes.
This is Janet. I'm here for item number 4.
Sorry, Janet, I completely missed you, didn't I? I went from 3 to 5. I totally missed you, but I did have you there as a panelist. So thank you for that. I apologize.
No problem.
For Bureau representatives that are on the line, thank you all for joining us this morning. Should the board have any questions for your Bureau, we will open up those audio lines for you at that time. This is for Jay Wong, Isam Amaraji, Rowena Romano, Victor Cortez, and Georgia Spindola. Good morning to you all. And again, if the board has any questions for your Bureau, we will open up those audio lines for you at that time. I believe I have all the presenters at this time. Oh, there's Nicholas. Nicholas, thank you for joining us. We were looking for you earlier. Should receive that invitation to join us as a panelist.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome. At this time, we're going to move forward with, just give me 1 second. Before I move forward with the graduates for today's Motor Sweeper Operator Certificate Program, I do have 2 individuals that have raised their hands. Let me just check who they are and what they need. Hi, Emilio.
Hi.
You have your hand raised?
Yeah, I'm here for item 8 from LSN, if there's any questions.
Okay, Edward Arrington,
Yeah.
presenting that item.
Yes, Emilio's here to support the item.
Okay, I was not informed about that, but I can go ahead and add Emilio.
Oh, and I apologize, but Patricia Fuelas, well, you already logged her in.
She's already on.
Yeah, she's already.
Yeah, and Edward, you can always communicate that to your board office liaisons, and they will put all the names in advance.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. Campos.
Again, this is for presenters at this time. You have a couple of folks that are raising their hand. I am trying to get us started by 10:08. If you are presenting at this time, if you can keep your hand raised, we will get to you as quickly as possible. We do have 3 individuals that have raised their hand. This is not for the Motor Sweeper Operator Certificate Program at this time. Okay, great. So we'll clear up. Thank you for lowering your hands. That has cleared the queue for all presenters this morning. Now we will begin to move forward with our Motor Sweeper operators. If you are here to participate for the graduation, if you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 or click the raise hand icon. I do apologize for those that had raised their hand earlier, but I think we're just wanted to make sure that we have all the presenters on the line before we get started. Again, this is for those individuals that are graduating today for the Motor Sweeper Operator Certificate ceremony. If you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 or click the raise hand icon, and we will quickly add you as a panelist. Again, this is for Edward Castillo, Ruby Ceballos, Alberto Cisneros, Samuel Flores, Carlos Fregosa, David Galvez, Andres Garcia, Samuel Garcia, Silverio Gonzalez, Michael Herr, John Latender, Corey Lowe, Jonathan Luna, April Moore, Frank Morales, Gerald Oglesby, Miguel Ramos, and Jesus Vera. Thank you all for raising your hand quickly, and I will go ahead and start adding you all as panelists. You should receive that invitation in the next 5 to 10 seconds. Once you do receive that invitation, if you can please accept that invitation and you will join us as a panelist. At that time, you'll be able to access your video and audio command buttons, and we should get started in the next 1 to 3 minutes with the board. I just have a few more that I need to accept and add to the panel. Please keep your hand raised. We will get to you as quickly as possible. All right, I just have 2 more individuals, Chief Harris, or I'm sorry, Gary Harris. I am trying to send that invitation. I am getting declinations. Oh, there you go. Perfect. I just have one more person, Miguel Ramos. I think you made it, which is great. Perfect. Last call for any members that are graduating today that have not raised their hand or are not part of our panel. If you can raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 or clicking the raise hand icon. I believe I have everyone. Oh, one last person that just raised their hand. Perfect. Silver Gonzalez. I am sending that invitation, but I'm getting an auto declination. If you can, once you receive that invitation to join us as a panelist, if you can just say accept or allow, that will allow you to join us as a panelist. Again, this is for Silver Gonzalez. All right, I think it went through. Perfect. At this time, it is 10:10, and we are trying to get started any second now. At this time, if we will move forward with our commissioners, if you can turn on your video cams and audio equipment, we'll go ahead and spotlight you for everyone. It is 10:10, and we're trying to get started as quickly as possible. And I see Dr. Davis first. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Doctor.
Let me go ahead and change your name on my end.
Thank you, sir.
And Commissioner Reyes, good morning to you.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone.
Good morning. And let me find our other commissioners. I did see them a little earlier. There's Commissioner Corzan. Good morning to you, Commissioner Corzan.
Morning.
And President Garcia.
Good morning, everyone.
Or Vice President Villegas. I don't see her on the line. President Garcia, if you can give me 30 seconds, I will reach out to VP Villegas for an ETA.
No problem.
Commissioners, Vice President Villegas is logging in. She should be able to join us in the next 30 seconds to 2 minutes at the most.
Okay, we'll hang out for her.
Great. As we wait for Vice President Villegas to join us, I'll take this opportunity just to quickly ask for any members of the general public that would like to provide general public comment or commentary on any of the items for today's agenda. If you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 or click the raise hand icon if you're joining us through the Zoom application. Again, this is for members of the general public that would like to provide general public comment or commentary on any of the items for today's regular agenda. If you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 or click the raise hand icon. Seeing no other hands raised, I see VP Villegas. Good morning to you, Vice President.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, good morning.
President Garcia, we do have all commissioners on the line.
Dr. Campos?
I can turn on the recording for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Perfect. President Garcia, you are now in record mode.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting for Friday, November 4th, 2022. Dr. Campos?
Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll call and quorum. We have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Corzan and Reyes. President Garcia, you do have a quorum at this time. President Garcia and Commissioners, we do not have any callers on the line under general public comment. We also have no commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section and no speakers for any of the items for today's agenda as well.
Thank you for that, Dr. Campos. Public comments now officially closed. Moving on to the approval of the minutes for Wednesday, October 21st, 2022. Is there a second to my motion to move this item forward and forthwith?
I'll
Second.
second that.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Dr. Davis and VP Villegas. Dr. Campos is a first by me and a second by Dr. Davis and Vice President Villegas to move the approval of the minutes forward and forthwith.
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia,
Aye.
Vice President Villegas,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous.
Great. Thank you for that, everyone. Good morning and happy Friday. We are a few weeks away before taking holidays, so we should all be very excited about that. But with that said, I just want to wish everybody a good weekend and a good rest of the day today. But today we have a very special ceremony this morning. We will be honoring and recognizing the motor sweeper operators that just graduated from a very, I would say, intense training so that they can be ready and start and be ready to go on the go and start sweeping our streets. So I just want to say preliminary, thank you all for taking that step, moving forward and investing in yourself to create a new life for you and your families. So congratulations for doing that for yourself. And also I'll put in a plug, you know, Department of Public Works has been working really hard on putting together a career fair, and it will take place December 1st at TradeTech. And I know a lot of you guys know where TradeTech is at because that's where our certificate class comes from, but that's another opportunity for a lot of folks to be able to enter the city workforce in different job classifications. So if you haven't seen the flyer yet, we'll make sure to get it to you, but stay tuned for that. But I'm very excited to be the liaison to the Bureau of Street Services. Bureau of Street Services, for all those folks in joining us, has had this program in place for, Chief Harris, what would you say, 20 years now?
87.
Thank you, Ed.
Since 1987?
1985.
Oh, wow. Okay, 1985. That's more than 20 years.
37 years.
37.
Wow. All right. Well, and that's how long this program has been in place. And every time we have these graduates, I get very excited because I know what this means. This is a great opportunity, not only for us at the bureaus that we're getting good folks. Like I see folks with some Dodger hats. I'm all right. They're already in the spirit, but they also come to us really prepared. And that's really the testament to all of you, Chief Harris, Mr. Navarro, Keith Mosaic, and everybody else that's part of this program. I always support this program. I think it's a fabulous program, and I look forward to 37 more years, Mr. Navarro. I don't know how you're going to do it, but we got to get it done. And with that said, I'm going to turn my the gavel over to Chief Harris. That's going to lead us in today's presentation. Chief Harris.
Thank you. Good morning, President Garcia, commissioners, bureau representatives, Mr. City Attorney, and Executive Officer. We're so honored to be here with you this morning. This is one of those very happy occasions that we get the opportunity to share with the whole Public Works family. It's always an honor to celebrate the accomplishment of the city's most valuable asset. And of course, that's the women and men of this bureau committed to providing essential services. It is the priority of Streets LA to invest in our staff and to provide workforce development opportunities like the Motor Sweeper Operator Certification Program. This course can also be used as a part of a larger associate degree program in the street maintenance technology field, which helps us further our commitment to provide effective and practical training for employees. And many of those employees we expect to go into the management ranks of the Bureau and be our future leaders. And of course, it imparts the institutional knowledge that is so important for us, giving to our staff after we lost so much of it during the SIP. It is these training opportunities that it allows us to continue the spreading of this knowledge is throughout the force for the good of all. You know, Benjamin Franklin once said, an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. And certainly we see the results of that here today by investing in the folks that do the work out there for us. And it's such essential work. Keeping our roadways clean and safe is one of the most vital services we provide as a department. And of course, these are the folks on the front line out there actually doing the job. The motor sweeper operators that we are here to celebrate today, these people continue to do their regular work week. They continue to have all their normal family obligations and all the stress of life, but yet they showed up every Saturday, 7 o'clock in the morning, studied all day. They did lab and lecture and crammed it all in until they made this significant achievement of getting the certificate of completion as part of their education that's going to help them to further their careers in the Bureau. So we really, truly want to say a sincere thank you to each and every one of you graduating today. But we want you to say, this is not the end. This is a beginning. This is the point where now you can take this knowledge that you've learned, you can move it to a new facet of your career, and hopefully it'll inspire you to go back to LATTC and continue to take some of the other programs available to you. And we look forward to celebrating when you get your associate's degree in street maintenance technology. So thank you to you all. We're very proud of you. We're glad to be here and celebrate with you today. And with that, Commissioner, if it's okay, I'd like to turn it over to the instructor, Mr. Abraham Navarro.
Yes, please do.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Chief Harris. Good morning, Madam President. My name is Abraham Navarro. I'm retired Assistant Director with the Bureau of Street Services. And as Chief Harris mentioned, today we celebrate the graduation. This is our 29th class. And as we talked before, we started 37 years ago. Mr. Al Sims was our General Superintendent then. He had the vision for this class. And I was given the privilege of developing and implementing the class. As we talk, the element is, this class is an element of our comprehensive street maintenance technology program, which is a joint effort with the Los Angeles Community College District. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome our summer class of 2022, composed of 18 proud graduates, bringing the total number of graduates to 730. 730 graduates we have. The success of this program is due to four main elements. First is your board continuous support for the program and the leadership of our director, Keith Mose. By the way, he's a proud graduate of the class of 1991. Second, the gigantic administrative support of Ms. Linda Cho's team, which includes our program coordinator, Ms. Martina Ruiz. Ms. Ruiz is very instrumental in making sure that all the administrative details are taken care of. That is, from the college registration, the commercial driver license requirement, guidance for the students, and ensuring that all the class material is prepared and distributed on time. Ms. Ruiz is to be commended for her extraordinary work. Third, the dedicated field instructors in the front line for the summer 22 were Steve Jacobellis, Hans Duran, Leticia Garnica, Jeffrey Harris, Langston Phillips, Latrice Lewis, and Ray Villalobos. And last, but very important, the willingness of the students to give up their Saturdays and obtain their families' support and encouragement during the 10 Saturdays away from their home. In closing, I congratulate each student for his or her perseverance in learning and applying the operational procedures and maintenance practice that have earned them this certificate of completion. I welcome them to the street cleaning family. Thank you.
Great. Chief Harris, do you want to have some of our certificate graduates give a few words?
Sure, we'd absolutely open it up to those wanting to speak at this time, if they would identify themselves.
We have two volunteers, Carlos Fregoso and let me see, and Ruby Ceballos.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Carlos Fregoso. I've been with the city for 4 years now. An amazing 4 years, I should add. My previous employment was with the private sector, and I'm so glad I made this transition to the city. The promotion opportunities here are endless. This summer, I was able to participate in the motor sweeper class that was taught by an amazing group of instructors. I want to thank Mr. Navarro, Harris, Langston, Risa, Ray, and everyone that took the time to make the class happen. And to make sure that we understood the assignments. Classes like this and instructors like you guys are going to help the city workers to promote in the future. And I want to wish good luck and the best in our city careers to the employees that are taking the classes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fregoso. I appreciate your words. Chief Harris, I believe you have one more.
We have one more.
Ms. Ruby Ceballos.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. My name is Ruby Ceballos. I've been with the city for 19 years, and those 19 years I have learned a lot. I started on a golf course. Now I am at the LA Zoo, so I've been there for a while. I just like to promote. But anyways, so we're here just to celebrate something that everybody is been waiting for, a day that is very important for everybody, it's the same as for me. So it's the day of our graduation. So we all work so hard, and this. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit nervous. Okay. So. So it's very important for all of us, and all the sacrifice that we have made. You know, all of us, or maybe some of us, that we have time off from work, from our families. We had time off from, take time off from personal time to take this class and better ourselves, to have a better future. And I'll say that I also thank you to all the professors and teachers that have taught us to have patience, teaching us all this for our future, and also for the future of our families. So with this, and with this certificate, we're gonna have another certificate to have everyone to put it on our wall of achievements. So to have a better future for our families, for ourselves, and also I will say that the knowledge is power, and it's priceless too. So to everybody, don't stop learning, because like I said, knowledge is power. Wherever you want to go, anywhere that you want to go, if you study hard and you learn something, nobody's going to take it away from you. So you're gonna take it with you until the day you leave this earth. So don't stop learning. And I'll say congratulations to all the students. They have passed this class, and just keep studying. Better yourself. And congratulations once again, class of 2022. That's what. That's it.
Thank you.
Really sharing your words. Hang on in there, guys. I want to make sure that our commissioners provide some kudos to you guys. Pass this over to Vice President Villegas.
It's always inspiring to do these celebrations and just to take a little bit of time, from our busy schedules and really recognize the work that's happening and being able to see it because our workforce is strong and it's growing and it's being trained by, the best. And we really recognize just the work that goes on behind the scenes, and it's important for us to be able to do something like this today. Congratulations to everyone, all of the, active students and our workers who've invested in themselves to be able to get more training and to be able to have another certification for just to do two things, right? To, improve your own well-being and also to be able to provide a lot of good work in the city that we love. Congratulations.
Yay. Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Davis?
Thank you so much, President Garcia. I too would like to commend, first of all, the Bureau of Street Services for their commitment and their persistence to make sure that this program is implemented every year. And also the relationship that the Bureau of Street Services has with our community colleges is a valuable collaboration, resulting in the employment of our staff who definitely have begun to blaze a trail for other achievements to come. So I enjoy watching every year, annually, those of you who come from various areas of the city, the gender balance, including women as well, and various cultural communities in Los Angeles that are a part of this program and get to complete it. And as Chief Gary Harris has said, this knowledge is invaluable. And again, it motivates you to even move further. And so we are proud of the work that you accomplish in doing street sweeping, because for those of us who travel anywhere, it is only because of the work that we put in maintaining the streets in the nation's second largest city that we're able to enjoy moving from point A to point B. So your work is very valuable. We treasure it, we value you, and congratulations. And we look forward to working with you. And many of you may end up, who knows, being the chief or the director of the Bureau of Street Services one day. So congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Commissioner Corson.
Thank you. I think a lot of great things have already been said. Dr. Davis hit them all, hit all of the nails on that one. So I won't go there just to say I agree 100% with what Dr. Davis and Vice President Villegas have already said. But I want to acknowledge what one of our speakers said about knowledge and education. There's nothing you can't do without knowledge and education and attaining it. And I thought that was a very poignant comment to make during the ceremony of the opportunities that are available through the city, through the bureaus, when it comes to attaining that knowledge, and it becomes powerful. It advances your career and lifts not just yourself, your households, your communities in the city of LA, because we benefit from the knowledge you're gaining. So thank you so much for this commitment you've taken on to complete this program and to advance your career. And I really enjoyed hearing about what the program is and taking the time during today's meeting to acknowledge it. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson. Commissioner Reyes.
Congratulations, first and foremost, to Street Services and the graduates themselves. This is a wonderful program. I am in awe of all the commitment, the time, and the training that you have carved out of your busy lives. That is so inspiring. I know each of you has different stories that are attached to your career here in the city, and that you've taken that great step of trying to advance your knowledge and your career. And hopefully there will be more opportunities to do that in the near future. So hats off to your time. Your family is proud of you. The Board of Public Works family, we're all proud of you for all your accomplishments. And this is a day that you get to celebrate. And give yourself a big round of applause as we all give you our big round of applause for all your accomplishments. Thank you and congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. And before we let you guys go, we are officially going to graduate you by calling out your name. So if you're here, put your video back on and wave when we call your name. We also have certificates from you that Chief Harris has. Beautiful certificates, by the way. There they are. If you see Dr. Campos, he has the certificate that all of you will receive, and you can frame it and put it on your wall and on your truck, wherever you want to put it. Put it on your motor sweeper truck too when you get it. I would put it right there. Just know that we are very proud of you. So I'll call on your name, and if you're here, just open your video and give a big wave to us.
President Garcia, this is Michael Cox, the division manager. Can I have a couple minutes to say something to the graduates?
Of course, sir.
Everyone? All right. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm having some camera issues this morning, but I did want to take the time to get in and get on the meeting here. I, too, am a graduate of the motor sweep operator class. I graduated in 92 under Mr. Abe Navarro. And at that time, I remember him telling us about attitude. You had to have a positive attitude. And I'll never forget that. Thank you so much, Abe. I did go on to become a motor sweep operator for 12 years. And after that, I became an instructor of the class. So I was one of the instructors in the class as well. Some of the instructors that are teaching the class now were students when I was an instructor in the class. So now I'm currently the division manager for the street maintenance division. So it is very true that you don't have to stop there. I went on to become a division manager. So the opportunities are endless, and you guys have taken the time and committed to something, which shows a lot of character on you guys' part. That if you just keep plugging away at it, you can become, as someone said earlier, an assistant director, or whatever it is you strive to become. But congratulations to all of you guys. Again, I'm an example of you can keep continuing to grow in this bureau. And I thank you guys so much. Congratulations to you guys. I look forward to working with you guys in the future. Appreciate you guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, Mr. Cox. Very, very inspiring words, and positive attitude takes you a very long way in anything that you do. So just, very good words, Mr. Navarro, from you. And I know these are your graduates, Mr. Navarro, and you continue to be part of us. And I have to say, Bureau of Street Services really focuses on career mobility. And that's really important for us here. Just the fact that folks have dedicated their life 20, 30, I hear so much, I think 37 years of this. It's truly amazing to hear that, the commitment that's given to the city. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all that believe in mobility and believe in leadership and believe in investing in our folks. And so thank you for that, because you're creating better lives for many of these folks. Thank you. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And so with that, yes. Oh, well, we got one more. Yes, Ms. Reed.
Hi, I'll just say something real quick. Mr. Navarro, thank you so much for teaching the class. And I'd like to thank all the assistant instructors in the class. And congratulations to all the graduates for completing the class and earning your certificate. That's all.
Nice. Thank you, Ms. Reese. So sorry about that, but thank you. Thank you. All right. So with that said, are we ready to call out names? If if we're in person, we will be bringing you up, doing the handshake and the whole deal. But I'm glad that this also gives you away. I see a lot of you folks working out in the street, see skylines and street lights, people walking. So it gave you guys an opportunity to be in both places. So with that, I'll start with Mr. Edgar Giovanni Castillo Sr. Is he here? If he is, give a big wave through your video and, congratulations, sir. Next, Ms. Ruby Ceballos. Mr. Alberto Cisneros. Mr. Cisneros, do we see you?
Yes.
Oh, there he is. Yes. You're free to take the mic off if you want to say a quick hello to Mr. Samuel Flores.
Great.
We'll say hello to Mr. Samuel and congratulations. Mr. Carlos D. Fregoso.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Carlos. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. David Galvez. He's here. Congratulations to you too, sir. Mr. Andres Marcos Garcia. Congratulations. Mr. Samuel Garcia. Mr. Silverio Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Navarro.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Michael W. Kerr.
Yes, I'm here present.
Oh, nice. Congratulations, sir.
Great class.
Thank you. I like that you guys are in the mission right now, right out there, showing us your skills already. Mr. John P. Lettender Jr.
Right here. I just want to say thank you guys very much for taking time out of your busy day to hold this ceremony for us. And I want to thank you, Mr. Navarro, for presenting material to us that will help us succeed. It was very, very thorough, and I definitely excelled in your guys' class, and I appreciate all you guys do for us. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Mr. Corey Dusan Lowe. Corey? Congratulations. Jonathan B. Luna. Jonathan, congratulations. April T. Moore. I see the April name. I just don't see the waving or the video. April, did you want to say something? All right, Frank Morales. Congratulations, Frank. Gerald Anthony Oglesby. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize. George, congratulations. Miguel Ramos. I see you. Congratulations, sir. And Jesus Vieira. Jesus, congratulations to you too. And
Good
with
morning.
that,
I'm sorry. I also have problem with my camera, but I have to say first off, thank you to all your instructors, Mr. Navarro. A very special thank you to Miss Martina Ruiz for just being on top of everything. Congratulations to my fellow students, and also to the panel for taking this time on this very special day. Thank you so much.
thank you, Mr. Rivera. I appreciate your words. Chief Harris, you want to close us up?
Yes, thank you. Just briefly, I want to thank again Mr. Abe Navarro for all his hard work over all these years of his class. And thank you to all the instructors. Thank you to all the students. And I want to leave you with one quote as we end this. And I'm going to credit Dr. Davis with this quote that he's used many times at this event. But it's a quote from Martin Luther King regarding street sweepers. And he said,
Oh, yes.
If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets, even as Michelangelo painted. Our Beethoven composed music. Our Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets as well, that all host of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. Thank you.
All right. Very good.
Very nice. Not more to say after that, but thank you all. Have a good rest of the day. We end our certificate ceremony for motor sweeper operator. Enjoy. Take time to celebrate with your families. And, thank you for being part of our Bureau and our Department of Public Works. Blessings to all you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Everybody.
All right. This is the hard part. We so to get our emotions are high and then okay, now we gotta go back to business. All right, everybody. Transition to agenda item number 1. Thank you all again. That was really good to have that this morning. It's really nice to see folks moving forward with their life. I appreciate that, Chief Harris, and to everybody at the Bureau of Street Services. Congratulations.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to first item of business today, the agenda item number 1. This is a request from the Bureau of Engineering in Council District 13. It is a budget increase and revised task order solicitation number 0528/340L M. Arthur Gensler Jr. and Associates, Inc., Hollywood Walk of Fame project. Recommending the board to 1, authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of task order number 0528/340L to M. Arthur Gensler Jr. and Associates, Inc., increasing the budget authority from $2,526,700 to $6,617,830 for architectural and related professional services for the Hollywood Walk of Fame project. This morning we have Nur. Where are you, Nur? Oh, Nur. Yes, you are. Nur from the Bureau of Engineering. Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nur Malhus, Bureau of Engineering. To provide a contextual background, the Hollywood Walk of Fame comprises more than 2,600 bronze and terrazzo star plaques embedded in and lining the sidewalks of the Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street. The stars honor the achievements of celebrities in the entertainment industry. The Hollywood Walk of Fame is a City of LA cultural monument that attracts millions of tourists and visitors from across the world each year. The walk runs from 1.3 miles east to west on Hollywood Boulevard, from Gower Street to La Brea Avenue, and then 0.4 miles north to south on Vine Street between Yucca Street and Sunset Boulevard. The Hollywood Walk of Fame is in Council District number 13. The current goal is to move the Hollywood Walk of Fame forward into the 21st century, respecting its rich history while establishing a holistic and long-lasting vision, which will be the implementation of the Hollywood Walk of Fame project. And this project consists of bicycle and pedestrian improvements, including the extension of sidewalks, installation of protected bike lanes, shade trees, signage, street furniture, reparation and restoration of stars along the Hollywood Boulevard. And this would also include the removal of parking and travel lane in each direction. On March 20th, 2019, task order solicitation 52A was sent out to a total of 32 firms, 20 firms from the 2014 pre-qualified on-call architectural related professional services list. Gensler was chosen, and through a proper selection and negotiation process, Gensler was chosen as the architectural consultant to perform the work for the Hollywood Walk of Fame project. And Gensler was tasked to perform conceptual drawings and other related initial project work for a budget authority of only $297,000, with the understanding that subsequent phases would be negotiated with them, provided that they provided a competitive proposal. So May 29th, 2020, a prior board report was increased with the budget authority to Gensler from $297,000 to $2,526,577. And this included prior work as well as funding to complete the schematic design documentation for the entire Hollywood Walk of Fame. And the schematic design documentation was completed in December of 2020. Now, with respect to the larger Hollywood Walk of Fame renovation project, on a side path, on January 20th, 2021, the Planning and Programming Committee of Metro approved this Measure M MAT Transit and First Last Mile program and awarded approximately $7.2 million for design and construction to the city to implement near-term improvements, enhancing placemaking and pedestrian safety improvements around the Hollywood Highland and Hollywood Vine stations on Hollywood Boulevard. The Metro-funded improvements at and near the two Metro stations will supplement the larger Hollywood Walk of Fame project and is meant to be a precursor scope to engage the community of Hollywood and act as sort of a dress rehearsal for the full Hollywood Walk of Fame project. The scope of work will include early implementation sidewalk extensions that consist of aesthetic upgrades of the roadway using treatments such as EnduraBlend or other types of materials proposed from North Orange Drive to Schrader Boulevard, which is around the Hollywood Highland Station area, and then Schrader Boulevard to Wilcox Avenue, which is in the Hollywood Vine Station. These early implementation sidewalk extensions would take up the existing parking lane spaces in the designated areas and would allow for near-term deployment of this pedestrian amenity adjacent to and near each Metro station. Additional improvements will include street furnishing, bus shelters, planters with trees, parking stations for bicycle bus pad decks, signage, and waste receptacles. The entire intent of this is to execute the work in a manner that is consistent with the design principles outlined in the Hollywood Walk of Fame Master Plan and to link the work to the larger Hollywood Walk of Fame. And some of the improvements, such as the waste receptacles and furniture, will be recycled to be used for the larger Hollywood Walk of Fame project when that project gets into construction and comes into fruition. Gensler was requested to submit a proposal to provide the design for this additional work. And after successful negotiations, the fee for the full design documents came out to $340,200. On January 4, 2022, a memorandum of agreements between the city and Metro were executed for both the Hollywood Vine and Hollywood Highland projects. And the BOE issued notice to proceed for this amount on January 25th and April 27, 2022, respectively. Within the schematic design, now that the schematic design is now completed, continuation for the larger Hollywood Walk of Fame design project was on hold until further funding became available. However, on February 15, 2022, City Council introduced a motion to fund the completion of the construction drawings for the entire Hollywood Walk of Fame and to conduct initial environmental reviews and documentation necessary for a planned pilot project. And the funding authorized to use this was approximately $6.8 million, including any interest and available funding to Council District 13 from the Hollywood Redevelopment Project Area Special Fund. In addition to the near-term improvements funded by Measure MMAT, First Last Mile, it's determined that the pilot project, which we have selected, will be the first half mile on the Hollywood Boulevard between Wilcox Avenue and Gower Street. And this will be noted as phase one of the project. And Gensler submitted a proposal for doing phase one of the project in December 16, 2021, which will be design development through construction administration. And the scope of phase one would include bicycle and pedestrian improvements, including the extension of sidewalks by 10 feet, the installation of protected class 4 bike lanes by 6 feet, a 3-foot buffer, shade trees, flexible event plazas, signage, street furniture, enhanced bus stops, and potentially public restrooms. The construction cost for phase one is estimated at $40 million, and construction is estimated to start in fall of 2025 when funding is identified. So with this additional scope, with reimbursables, this additional amount was $3.6 million in total from this task force authority from inception to current, approximately $6,617,830. In regards to business inclusion program, we have anticipated levels of 18%, 4%, 18% for minority business enterprise, 4% for women business enterprise, 25% for small business enterprise, 8% for emerging business enterprise, 3% for disadvantaged veteran business enterprise. Fortunately and excitingly, Gensler has pledged 20.74% MEB, 5.6% WEB, 49.43% SBE, 25.67% EBE, and 3.72% DVBE. So they have exceeded the anticipation levels for all the different categories. The funding for this project will come from the CRA LA Excess Non-Housing Bond Proceeds, a Capital Technology Expenditure Improvement Program, and the Hollywood Redevelopment Project Area Special Fund number 58G. And this concludes my presentation.
Well, that was a very thorough report. All right, commissioners, any questions?
Yes, I have a couple. In terms of what we will do with this Gensler and Associates proposal is to expand the capacity of the Hollywood Walk corridor. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And it would include adding some additional sidewalk space where we could install additional stars in the future, correct?
Well, this additional sidewalk space is not for additional stars, but it's for pedestrians to use, and also for outdoor furniture, bus shelters, kiosks, and just for basically for pedestrians and for civilians to use. Currently, the Hollywood Boulevard, if you take a cross section, is 30% for pedestrians, 70% for vehicles. The goal of this project is to flip it around to have 70% for pedestrians and 30% for vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and also you mentioned some other amenities that will be added in addition to the sidewalk space. What were those again that will also be proposed to be added here in this motion?
It would be a class 4 bike lane, some shade trees, a mobility buffer, waste receptacles, bus shelters, seating platforms, informational kiosks, and potentially public restrooms.
So this is all geographically on Hollywood Boulevard, correct?
That is correct.
And it will give it more of a landscape of kind of a park-like setting.
That is correct. It's going to give it a park-like setting and give it the idea that it's more of a place for people to gather and convene.
And I'm kind of trying to get some clarity on, so the extra sidewalk is just for people to walk on. How does it relate to the stars that we have, obviously, which is one of the highlights of that area? How does it relate to that? I mean, will it extend? I'm trying to imagine, not having seen a scape of it. I'm trying to imagine how this new sidewalk space fits into the existing structure that I know and visualize in the project.
So it'll connect to it. So it basically, what you have right now, you have the terrazzo sidewalk with the stars, and you have a curb. We're going to just expand. We're going to take up the existing parking lane and expand that sidewalk 10 feet. And
I see.
Concrete, concrete, not terrazzo, but concrete. And then it'll connect to the existing sidewalk. And then this new sidewalk will just be not used for any kind of stars. We won't put any stars there or terrazzo.
I see.
And that's how it will interact with it. We are going to repair stars as well. There's some stars that are damaged that will be repaired.
So it will accommodate, we already and always do have in that area a heavy tourism spot. This will be much more pedestrian friendly, giving us a better and a longer and a larger capacity to accommodate the already vibrant tourism that we see in the area. And of course, complementing it with these other amenities will certainly make it a more comfortable and welcoming place, I guess.
It absolutely will. Yeah.
Is the goal of the project. Now, finally, in terms of the time period that you will begin to implement this, provided that we pass this motion today, did you say that you would start in 2005, or you hope to begin and finish by 2005?
2025, we would start.
25, I'm sorry.
Right. We would start construction for the larger Hollywood Walk of Fame project in 2025, which is the full implementation. Granted contingent, we receive funding. We applied for ATP funding for this construction. We weren't successful in this cycle, but we plan to, apply again. But if all funding was in place for construction, and if we started today with the approval and did design, we would complete design projected around the end of 2024, go out to bid January of 2025, and award the project by summer of 2025 and start fall of 2025 for just phase 1, which is from Wilcox to Gower.
Didn't you say that you were seeking some of the old CRA funding that was left over for the implementation of this project?
Yes, that'll be a supplement to some of the funding. So we received around $4,082,000 of CRA funding, and we used a lot of that portion for schematic design and conceptual design, as well as environmental documents. We're going to use the remainder of it as part of this design development and construction documents.
And is there some effort in terms of the grants that exist at the state level, and or is there grants available in various federal funding that could be applied to such a project?
Yes, active transportation program would have been a very good funding source for this. We had applied for this last cycle 6. Unfortunately, we were not successful, but we plan to apply again next year. And that's the only one that we've seen. There could be other funding sources which we could look for that will that could apply for this. More like mobility improvements, street improvements, more mobility for pedestrians and bicycles. We're looking at
Proximity of the project to transportation is what in terms of rail transportation stops and or any other kind of transportation? Does it intersect in any way with transportation?
Yes, it does. You have, the metro lines that go through Hollywood Boulevard, and they have several stops that go through. And we are trying to connect this project to the larger 2035 mobility plan of LADOT. There are some, bicycle lanes that are planned out for the areas next to Hollywood Boulevard. And our goal is to, create this corridor of 1.3 miles and build upon that to create this continuous network. But
well, hopefully as a result of our vision that the additional opportunities for funding might be expanded as well. And thank you so much for answering my questions.
Right, absolutely. That's the goal. I mean, the more pedestrian and mobility improvements there are, it'll create a stronger case for funding.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, I also want to let you know that Mr. Dan Howland from Council District 13 is here. Dan, if you want to, it's up to you if you want to share some few words.
Thank you, President Garcia. I just want to say thank you. Commissioner Davis, you hit the nail on the head. There is such an opportunity here to improve a place that millions of people are already coming to, and that lots of people more than ever live near. And we've really tried to put that front and center. We've done a tremendous amount of community outreach, 65 roundtables in different settings over the last couple of years. And we're really, really excited about bringing these things to fruition. I also just really want to acknowledge and you've heard a little snippet of it just now, the incredible hard work, thorough work, dedication of Nur Malis leading the team at the Bureau of Engineering and all associated departments and agencies. This is a massive, really, really big, ambitious effort. But I want to specifically thank Nur for his leadership. And it's just been great to work with the Bureau of Engineering and all of the partners on this.
Great.
Great, very nice. Thank you, Mr. Howland. Any other questions, commissioners? Commissioner Corson.
Thank you. Thanks, Ann, for being on. Dr. Davis, in my briefing with you also brought up what I had brought up. And the concern I have is I still don't hear any clarity on the future of the extended sidewalk. As it is now, it wasn't made clear on what happens in the future of once it's built. Is there anything in place that says that it cannot be used for the stars? My thinking here, Dan, and maybe you can add to this as well, is we're spending all of this money, and these are great enhancements. Don't get me wrong. These are wonderful enhancements that the area needs as someone who frequents Hollywood Boulevard. But I'm concerned over spending all of this money to make the improvements, and then a nonprofit ultimately benefits because they sell the space for the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And there's a little bit of discomfort I have with that. If we're making all of these improvements and we're adding 10 feet of sidewalk space, and there is no limitation on whether they can use that space that we are investing in, right? So I just want a little bit more clarity on, is that written somewhere that we're not going to allow that? If it is, if it's not, what areas do you foresee that they can add stars to the extended portions?
So
go ahead, Nur.
I was going to say with that, I don't think we have anything in writing which dictates this. I mean, the goal is really to use that area as the current scope is for, outdoor dining, for street furniture. and for the local businesses to also utilize. The intent is not to use it. The intent is not to use it for any stars or anything, that to expand it, as far as I know. But there's nothing. I don't think there's anything like this that is in writing as of yet.
Not as of yet, but I know that as we add that additional space, as we put those furnishings out there, there needs to be a strong management structure of all of those new things. Commissioner, I think that you raised a really good point, and that should also extend to just really solidifying that for the space itself. Because, right now, NER mentioned that we have 100-foot right-of-way, and it's about 15 feet. Each sidewalk is about 15 feet. And because of the stars being in the middle of the sidewalk, and now in many places, there are 2 rows of stars. Salt and Peppa gets their star on the Walk of Fame in about 20 minutes, as a matter of fact. There's not a lot of public right-of-way for other things. It really precludes a lot of the businesses, for example, from being able to put tables and chairs out there without encroaching on the stars, which nobody wants to do, because that's the reason everybody is there to begin with. So the whole point is to make that additional space. I will tell you that, just a relatively informal but pretty thorough analysis that I did a couple of years ago during the pandemic, just based on the amount of space that is there, and assuming that we continue to double up through the existing Walk of Fame, which is about 1.7 miles in total, and that includes both sides of the street, so it would be double that. We still have decades to go if we were to complete all of the 2 rows. So I feel good about that, but I think you raise a very good point, and something that Councilmember O'Farrell has always said is that it's incumbent upon us not just to put things out there or to fund putting things out there, but to just really make sure that it's managed very thoughtfully in terms of this additional space.
Thank you for that clarification. I think that's where I was headed with it, is like, if we're making all of this commitment and dedicating, resources to adding street shade, pedestrian improvements, even street furniture or public restrooms, if before we even get there, we've already expanded the sidewalk and stars are already put there, it kind of takes away that real estate that could go for that, unless we're going to put a public restroom or for a star. So it kind of speaks to that management point of like, what are the best management practices we're going to have in place and how are we going to address it? So I appreciate your commentary on that, Dan. That was really helpful.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson, for that. Any other questions, colleagues? I would say, Dan and NER, that to also look into some tourism money. That's some of these grants for infrastructure on that. My only, I guess, push would be if we can do this sooner. I hear 2025, and I just hear that's so long from now that I wish that we can provide this. People are coming tomorrow to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I hope that we can somehow push this forward even faster. That would be my ultimate recommendation. Obviously, thoroughly thinking through, bringing all the partners together, making sure that we're doing right for that tourism area. But I would like to see this kind of come to fruition sooner.
Well, to provide a response to that comment, we are actually going to be doing the near-term improvements sooner than that, hopefully in 2024, where we're just going to use the existing parking lane and put in DuraBlend and just put some street furniture there, and then some planters for a barrier between the vehicles and that area. And then, so that's going to be, the near-term deployment is going to happen sooner.
Okay. I still hear 2024, NER.
We're with you. I mean, the number one complaint that I get, and there's such broad consensus around this vision, but the number one thing that people say is, could you please do it faster? So we are with you 100%. To NER's point, we are so excited about the resources from Metro because it allows us to advance some of these things in less than a year. And I do think that even just starting to reclaim some of that public right of way will have a transformative effect. And I also expect it to serve as a catalyst to help put the other pieces of funding together. And you know, the great thing about it is I think that there are different avenues, absolutely in terms of tourism, but even in some other you know, infrastructure or active transportation dollars that might be available. And that speaks to what the place is, and that speaks to the vision, which is a street for everybody that people can come to and to come together.
Yes, thank you. Well, it's time too. It's really time to do this for the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I really do believe that. So I would give my recommendations to the Bureau of Engineering to prioritize some of this grant funding as much as we can, as we see fit, because I want to make sure we kind of handle this sooner rather than later. It's again, people come for Hollywood for what it stands for, and we want to just be up to date now, bring it, like you said, to the 21st century or 22nd, whatever century we're in now. But I want to make sure that we bring it to this new technology. And commissioners, if you, NER had some preliminary renderings. Perhaps it might help NER to kind of ease some of our questions that we have. Perhaps you can send it over after the meeting to each of the commissioners, and you'll see just how vibrant the new look will be once we get there. So thank you for that. Sure. All right. Well, we're here to authorize the revision of the task order. I know that we kind of got caught up with the aesthetics and you know, so forth, but we're really here to just increase the budget authority from $2 million to about moving out to $6 million for architecture and related professional services. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 1 forward and forthwith?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Vice President. Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, unless there's any objections, I am sorry I didn't ask that, commissioners. Any objections on this? Hearing none? Okay. I'm moving this forward with a motion from Vice President Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos?
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
I want to say one final thing. No, thank you, Dan, for you know, kind words for Bureau of Engineering. I want to say I want to thank Dan Halvin for all his work. He's been absolutely great to work with. You couldn't have a better person to work on this project with us. So thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you, NER, and thank you, commissioners. Really, really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much. I love when there's like the team synergy, because we're all working for the same common ground and really to improve the city of LA all around, and definitely the Hollywood Walk of Fame is very important to us. So thank you all. Have a good rest of the day. Your motion's now approved. Please move forward with it. Thank you all. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
All right, colleagues, moving on to item number 2. This is in Council District 14. This is a construction budget, construction order, and change order for Tomovic and Associates Super Expedited Wastewater Emergency Rehabilitation for Sewers Program Monterey Road Right-of-Way Project. Recommending the board to 1, authorize a construction budget of $246,000, including contingency for the Super Expedited Wastewater Emergency Rehabilitation for Sewers Program Monterey Road Right-of-Way 6300 project. And 2, authorize the city engineer to issue construction orders and change orders up to the authorized construction budget for this project. And this morning we have Mr. George Huang from the Bureau of Engineering. Good morning, sir. 2 times in a row, one in person and one in video.
That's right. It's great to be back in person. Now it's just again.
You're like rolling with us, you know, in person and video. You do it all too.
I'm always here. Oh, good morning, though, commissioners. My name is George Huang again, and from the Bureau of Engineering. So the item before the board today is actually this time is with the Super Expedited Wastewater Emergency Rehab for Sewers, or the Sewers Program. This is another 5-year contract that was recently also executed back in March of 2022. There are 3 contractors, pre-qualified contractors that were on this list, and they all have prefixed selected bid items that they had submitted as part of this contract. The contract is more for the expedited repairs of the sewers, and currently it's in its 7th contract since its inception back in 2003. So for this contract, the city engineer has authority to issue construction orders up to, which is a notice to proceed for a total cost up to $150,000. And more specifically, going back to this project, Monomory Road, right-of-way 6300, there was a work request that was issued by the LA Sanitation, and which identified this reach, as you can see in Figure 1, with the various pipeline fractures and voids. This reach actually extends into the sewer easement along where you have natural vegetation, hardscape, and structures that are near this sewer easement. And this reach is about 144 linear foot long and about 10 feet deep. And because of these natural vegetations and surface obstructions, a typical open trench method of repairing these pipes would be cost prohibitive, and it would also result in significant impacts to the nearby residences doing the work. Therefore, we chose to go with a trenchless method, which is known as pipe bursting, and which there's a machine that goes through the pipe, and it forces the pipe to break, and along behind it, this new pipe is dragged along and installed at the same time. And this trenchless method would significantly reduce the impacts above surface as compared to with an open trench method. And this work is also subcontracted out, so this was an opportunity to also have the prime contractor do some work along with the subcontractor as well. And from here, some of this work has prefix sewers bid items already attached to it, and then the pipe bursting work was bidded out to the 3 contractors on the list. And from there, when we add both of those totals, the lowest bidder was Tomovich, which was at $184,580. And they were selected to perform this work. And this project also includes a $61,420 contingency, which is typically a little bit higher than what we would normally apply for a project this size. And that's due to the additional landscape restoration work that needs to be done. Even though we are going trenchless to install the pipe, when we are reconnecting the private property's lateral connection from the property to the main line, the contractor still has to do an excavation pit to make that connection. And in order to, and then this project, we also requested an emergency authorization from the BOE Liaison Commissioner back in September 2022. The reason for this emergency request is that it acts as a mitigation measure because it was needed because the private property next to this work had an overlapping construction project. So in an effort to get the work done and get this work done as soon as we could, we requested for this emergency authorization. As of today, the pipe bursting work has been completed, and right now the contractor is still working to do some of the surface landscaping restoration work. So we were able to get the majority of the work done and work with the property owner on their construction project. And the funding that was identified for this project is from the Sewer Operation and Maintenance Fund, and there are no impacts to the general funds. With that, that concludes my report, and I'll take any questions from the board.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Juan, for that report. Any questions, colleagues? I'm seeing none. Any objections? Seeing none either. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 2 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by VP Villegas to move item number 2 forward and forthwith.
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos. Thank you, George. We are done. We are good. You're good to go now. Have a good weekend.
You too. Have a great weekend. Good seeing everyone.
Hope to see you again next week. All right. Have a good day. Have a good weekend, sir. All right. Moving on to item number 3. This is a request from the Bureau of Sanitation in all council districts. Amendment number 2, task order solicitation number A3-16-01 and budget increase DCSE Inc. Recommending the board to 1, authorize the director of the Bureau of Sanitation or her designee to issue amendment number 2 to the existing project task order A3-1601 computer technical support with DCSE Inc. for the amount of $7,082,000, which increases the cost ceiling from $8,211,000 to $15,293,000 and extends the term into April 8, 2025. And we have here Mr. Tran this morning. Good morning, Mr. Tran.
Good morning, President Garcia and fellow commissioners. We're bringing forward the approval of Project Task Amendment 2 for Project Task Order A3-1601. We're asking to extend the contract to additional 3 years, bringing it to April 2025, as well as increasing the cost ceiling from $8 million to about $15 million. It's additional $7 million increase. This contract is used primarily for staff augmentation for computer technical support, mostly PC support, and kind of help desk work. This help kind of maintains the staffing levels for LA Sanitation and frees up city staff to focus on more of the important application systems that are used throughout LA Sanitation. This contract is for PC technicians to help with the day-to-day fix, deploying computers, fixing hardware and software issues throughout LA Sanitation, and to help out LA Sanitation staff. The current contractor, the prime contractor on this contract is DCSE, with 2 subcontractors on this contract, which is EKS Consulting and the Marcos Group. The 2 subcontractors bring about a 40% MBE to the business inclusion program that we have, and oftentimes the contractors that we have end up being hired onto LA Sanitation staff, as well as civil service employees throughout the city. So this really helps LA Sanitation IT staff to kind of focus on the larger projects, and this contract have the staff augmentation to do the day-to-day fix for us. Are there any questions?
Any questions, colleagues? I don't hear any questions. Again, I want to allude to this too, Mr. Tran. At any point, are we also inheriting some of this knowledge that we can then eventually do in-house?
No, we have looked into hiring or bringing additional staff to do this type of work, but because of the different, there's only a few city classifications. Mainly, we have to request for system analyst positions, which oftentimes we can't get enough of. So there was a discussion on expanding city classification to hopefully add a kind of a PC technician classification to kind of help do this work. So if that occurs in the future, we would like to bring more in-house staffing. But currently, it's just the way the classification works. It's hard to get enough positions, and there's a lot of turnover, particularly in the systems analyst position, where they kind of move around to different departments. And this is also kind of a cost savings for us in terms of contracting this out, opposed to trying to add additional systems analysts to do this type of work.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Any other questions, colleagues? Any objections on this item?
One question, in terms of the existing contract, are there any subcontractors that have been engaged in the existing contract?
There are two subcontractors on this contract, EKS Consulting and the Marcos Group. We're also working on a new kind of master on-call contract, a new RFQ, so that we can bring on more primes and hopefully more subcontractors to kind of diversify or bring in just more companies to be part of our task order solicitation process.
Yeah, because when I look at our expansion economically, it's also important to spread the opportunity and the resources as big of a net as we possibly can, and yet have the quality of the performance of the service that we're buying. So I appreciate that effort, and I think that that's important, in addition to what our president has brought up in terms of in-house talent and skill growing and developing at the same time. Some of these services, as you already know, we don't want them to be permanent if in fact our own staff can gain from providing the service. So I think both of those things are at play. So thank you so much for answering my question.
Sure, thank you.
Agreed, Dr. Davis. Okay, any other questions? The Commissioner Reyes.
I just want to echo what Dr. Davis and our President Garcia has already articulated in terms of the knowledge management, the succession planning. We cannot be looking at, expanding the contract every year and adding more money for the same work that we already have. We should make a commitment that these are entry-level job classifications and looking for more sustainability in the long run. I know the basic reasons or the rationale for doing this, but you ought to also look at the other side of the coin, which is on workforce development and talent management. We have those people, and even though we are hiring them, in the long run, those are feeder classes where you have a pipeline of people who are ready to take on and become permanent civil servants for the city of Los Angeles. And IT is one of the areas where, in terms of technology, there is a huge opportunity for advancement in terms of the work that we do. I know it's just the basic maintenance and software and all that stuff, but that is important. We all have to start from somewhere in order to develop our workforce. So I've had this discussion. I know when you first came in, we've had this discussion. Again, I just want to reiterate and articulate the feelings of majority of my colleagues over here in terms of knowledge management, succession planning, and workforce development. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes, as well, and Dr. Davis. Yeah, that's something that we are paying attention to, and want to make sure that where we can, we do enhance those services and try to bring them in-house as much as we can. All right. Well, with that said, any other questions, colleagues, commissioners? Any issues or objections? Hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 3 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second? I'll second. Oh, okay, go ahead. Commissioner Corson. Sorry about that, Commissioner. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Corson to move item number 3 forward and forthwith.
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Tran. Appreciate all the work that you're doing. We look forward to after April 8th of 2025, maybe a different narrative here.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. All right, moving on to item number 4. This is a request from the Bureau of Street Lighting. This is in Council Districts 2 and 5. Change order number SL-16 and revised construction budget street lighting conduit project Unit 6 high voltage conversion fiscal year 2018-2019. Recommending the board to 1, authorize the director of the Bureau of Street Lighting to issue change order number SL-16 deducting $1,442,485.12 for deletion of new pull box and conduit installation work. And 2, approve the contract budget from the amount reduced from $2,373,121 to $1,055,056 with 58 cents. In contingency budget amount to be reduced from the $355,879 to 0, resulting in a revised total budget of $1,055,056 with 58 cents. All right, that was a whole lot of numbers. Who is here from Bureau of Street Lighting? Oh, Janet, how are you?
Hi, good morning, President.
Welcome. Tell us what you're doing.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Janet Kwan with the Bureau of Street Lighting, here to request your approval on change order number SL16 for the street lighting conduit only Unit 6 project, which installs new conduit for high voltage series circuits to facilitate future conversion to low voltage by city crews. This is a change order that would deduct $1,442,485.12 from the project budget. The change order consists of adjustments to the installed quantities versus the bid estimated quantities and the deletion of work associated with 4 high voltage series circuits. The circuits originally selected for the project resulted from spot checks on wire removability by the Bureau of Street Lighting's field crews. Due to the vast number of series circuits that had to be checked at the beginning of the program, our field crews were only able to make assumptions on how easily the existing wires could be removed based on the condition of a few conduit runs for each circuit. In a continued effort to conserve funds, the Bureau later revisited circuits on the project to perform a more in-depth evaluation. 2 circuits were found to have wires that could be removed with an acceptable amount of extra effort, so these circuits were deleted from the project and the Bureau converted them by reusing the existing conduit. Then as work began on 2 other circuits by the contractor on the project, after new conduit was installed for the sections the Bureau had previously checked, we asked the contractor to evaluate wire removability for the remaining portion of the circuits. It was found that it was feasible to remove the wires, so we asked the contractor to stop conduit installation on these circuits, and the Bureau's field crews converted the circuits by reusing the existing conduit. A total of 4 circuits were deleted from the project, but they were all converted by city crews. We had proposed other comparable circuits to the contractor as substitutes for the circuits we had deleted, but the contractor did not want to take on any additional change order work and requested for the project to be closed out. The Bureau agreed, and this change order before you is the final change order for the project. The contractor is in agreement with this change order. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Kwan, for that. Any questions, colleagues? Hearing none. Any objections on this? Seeing none as well. Okay, I don't have any questions. I know we had a discussion yesterday around this, Janet, so I'm pretty comfortable with what we're doing here. And I'm glad that we were able to bring it down to 0, which that's always a good number for us. But any other discussion points around it? All right, well, hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 4 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson. Is there a second? I'll second. We all second. All right, so Dr. Campos, there's a first by Commissioner Corson and a second by myself. I believe it's VP Villegas and Dr. Davis.
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Kwan. Yeah, thank you for your report. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, moving on to item number 5. This is in all council districts. This is a Public Works Trust Fund. This is from our board offices. Public Works Trust Fund Loan, California for All Youth Grant Program, Project Coordinator, Code 1537 position. Recommending the board to 1, authorize a new $15,003,646 loan from the Public Works Trust Fund, Fund 834, Department 50, payable by the California for All Youth Workforce Development Grant, Fund 165 and Department 22-RC or appropriate to be determined. To front, fund, and implement our 4 projects, Clean LA, River Rangers, LA Community Composting, and Edible Food Waste Recovery at the Board of Public Works, funded by the California for All Youth Grant. 2, find that the loan proceeds will be deposited into the city's general fund number 0100, Department 74, which interest earned is retained by said fund and is also the same fund where interest is earned in the Public Works Trust Fund number 834 is transferred to an interim basis. Recommendation number 3, approve the waiver of interest assessment. Recommendation number 4, authorize the Board of Public Works Director of Accounting to transfer $15,003,646 from available funds within the Public Works Trust Fund to the Board of Public Works and increase appropriation account authority as follows. There's a little graph there on salaries, contractual services, and a total of $15 million. Recommendation number 5, authorize the reimbursement of grant funds received from the State of California, Office of the Governor's California Volunteers to be deposited into the California for All Youth Workforce Development Grant Fund and transfer said receipt to the Public Works Trust Fund on a monthly basis until full repayment is received by no later than September 30th, 2024. Recommendation number 6, authorized by resolution 1 project coordinator, class code 1537, position to be employed in Public Works to provide project support for the California All Grant Project titled LA River Rangers, subject to allocation and exemption approval by the Board of Civil Service Commissioners in accordance with Charter Section 100D4, based on the position being grant funded for term not to exceed 3 years. And 7, authorize the Board of Public Works Executive Officer or designee to make any technical or accounting updates to the recommendations above to effectuate the intent of the Mayor and City Council. And with that, we have here Mr. Norman Teneta. Mr. Norman, how are you, sir?
Good morning, President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, Board Commissioners, City Attorney, Executive Officer, and Board Representatives. Again, my name is Norman with the Board of Public Works Financial Management Section. The board report before you requests the board to authorize a $50 million loan from the Public Works Trust Fund payable by this California for All Youth Workforce Development Grant to provide front funding for the implementation of the 4 projects assigned to the board, which are the Clean LA, LA River Rangers, LA Community Composting, and Edible Food Waste Recovery. The proposed Public Works Trust Fund loan will provide general fund relief and allow the Board of Public Works to implement and encumber funds as swiftly as possible to minimize impact to service development, job recruitment, and placement. To provide a little bit of background on this grant, the mayor executed an agreement back on May 12, 2022 between the city and the state, accepting a total of $53.2 million grant award with a performance period through June 30, 2024. The city anticipates enrolling 4,000 youth through 16 programs to be implemented citywide. The 3 primary goals of this grant are to increase youth employment, develop career pathways, and strengthen city or community capacity to address key areas of food insecurity, climate, and COVID-19 recovery. Other city departments involved in this grant are the Economic and Workforce Development Department, the Youth Development Department, Community Investments for Families Department, Recreation and Parks, and us. Of the $53.2 million awarded to the city for this grant, $15.2 million has been allocated to the board for the implementation of these 4 programs that were mentioned earlier. The enrollment goal for these 4 programs is to hire 342 youth. Again, the breakdown of the $15 million is as follows. The Clean LA program will receive approximately $8.9 million, and the goal is to hire 200 youth through that program. The LA River Rangers program will receive an allocation of $5.2 million with an enrollment goal of 127 youth enrollments. LA Community Composting will receive roughly $600,000 to hire 12 youth enrollments. And the Edible Food Waste Recovery program will receive an allocation of about $500,000 with a goal to hire 3 youth. Again, that total is about $15.2 million, and again, the goal is to hire 342 youth total. Also included in this board report is a request to authorize by resolution a project coordinator assigned to the Board of Public Works, again, to oversee the LA River Rangers program. To aid in these efforts, the mayor's office identified staffing that is required to support the implementation of these grant-funded projects. Initially, the Board of Public Works requested 5 positions in total. As part of the Mayor's Office of Economic Opportunities report, which is transmittals 1 and 2 of the report included authorization by resolution for 4 positions: the Principal Project Coordinator, a Senior MA1, a Management Assistant, and a Project Assistant were approved again in this report. The 5th position requested, a second Senior MA1, was not included in this aforementioned report because the proposed Clean LA position is categorized as mixed funded, partially funded by the general fund and partially funded by this grant. And it was found that it would be more appropriate to include on budget, since again it's mixed funded, due to the fact that the Clean LA program has a youth component through this grant and an adult component through that is funded through the general fund. So by not including this senior position, this created a gap and delay in service to develop, launch, and implement the LA River Rangers program. So since then, we have hired the Principal Project Coordinator to oversee the operations of these 4 programs. And with the consultation of the Principal Project Coordinator, Devin Satorsky, it has been determined that a project coordinator is better suited to manage the LA River Rangers program. So therefore, the request before you is to request authorization for the resolution authority for the project coordinator instead of the second Senior MA1 position. In regards to the fiscal impact of the loan request, there is no impact to the general fund. Again, the Public Works Trust Fund loan will provide $15 million to front fund the 4 projects discussed earlier. The loan repayments will be made to the Board of Public Works as we will be submitting monthly invoices to the state. Full repayment of this loan is expected September 2024. As of June 30, 2022, pending loans in the Public Works Trust Fund total $26.7 million. Not included in this amount is $172,000, which has yet to be dispersed. This brings the total amount to $26.9 million. This consists of about 13 loans to 7 departments. When you take this current outstanding balance to loan ratio, this brings us to about 18.3%. If approved, but if this $15 million loan is approved by the board, this will increase the outstanding balance to $41.9 million, which increases our loan to balance ratio to 28.5%. It is important to note that the board's balance to loan ratio target is at or below 25% or not to exceed 30%. So this 28.5% will pretty much put us at the threshold, 1.5% under. Again, if approved, the funds will be dispersed and transferred from the Public Works Trust Fund to the board's Fund 100 accounts, as stated in the recommendations. And again, reimbursements are anticipated from the state on a monthly basis. And again, the loan itself is expected to be fully repaid by September 2024. And that concludes my presentation. Open to any questions you guys may have.
Great. Thank you for that, Norman. Very thorough on both ends. Any questions, colleagues? I see Dr. Davis. Dr. Davis?
Yes, thank you, Norman, for the report. The grant is the California for All Youth Grant Program. We applied for this, what was it, a year ago?
Yes, the mayor executed the agreement back on May 12th, 2022.
And so the purpose of the grant is for us to design some areas where we want to increase services involving young people to deliver those services, correct?
Correct.
And so we picked these 3 areas, of which we were very fortunate, obviously, to be allowed resources to do work in those areas. And we are going to target young people in various areas of the city, correct?
Correct.
And how are we going to go about in achieving those young people who will be selected? Do you know?
So the grant itself has its parameters. The age range is between 16 to 30, and all participants must be between 16 to 30 and must fit at a minimum of the following criteria. They must have not participated in the AmeriCorps program, may have difficulty finding employment, are low income, are unemployed and or out of school, or are justice involved, or are transitioning from foster care, or are engaged in with a mental health or substance abuse system. So we're working in collaboration with the Economic and Workforce Development Department. There are various youth source centers where the youth are encouraged to apply through their Hire LA application platform, and then as they apply these requirements, they ensure that these requirements are met, and then they are assigned to to the 16 or so programs, including our 4 programs. And based on where they live and where they reside in the city, we try to kind of keep them close, keep their enrollment close to where they live to bypass any transportation issues. But yes, we are working with closely with the mayor's office, EWDD, and the other departments to ensure that we reach these enrollment goals.
That is a very critically important demographic in our city, and so much so that it matters that we connect with that demographic in terms of their own growth and development. And I think it is the kind of work that we hear our leaders talk about. So I appreciate this program and its target and what it seeks to do. And I just want to make sure that young people from every area of town, particularly South Los Angeles, get an opportunity also to be inculcated to the program and to matriculate in it, because it is important. As I had expressed earlier, we have, for example, in one of the schools in Los Angeles, in South LA, a population of foster children that rivals 50% in terms of the membership of that school and the status of those young people. And I've heard you say that this is the demographic that we are seeking to address. And these people after 18 years old now are independent and emancipated, and having a job is critically important. So I commend us having applied for this grant and being able to connect with this very important demographic in our city. And I think that it can help give some opportunity for employment for many people who have not connected to the other resources that the city should be manifesting, such as public contracting opportunities, the union apprenticeship programs. And so lacking those opportunities, I think the gap in filling it are programs like this. So I am a supporter of the program, not only in terms of the service you're going to provide in composting and dealing with edible food waste and working with the river, but in terms of the people that you're going to have doing the work. So I just wanted to echo that and to commend you for the targeted population that you're going to be working with. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. I saw Vice President with your hand up. Did you still have something, Vice President? It's okay.
I went off camera. I haven't had any breakfast and I was just starving.
We have to fit it all in.
Interruption. I wanted to echo some of the same sentiment that Dr. Davis mentioned, but I didn't want to delay us, and I thank him for mentioning just the benefit that our youth will receive, and the transaction that's before us today. This is one that this is why we have our trust fund, to be able to use it for good purposes like this. So that was all my comment, but you caught me mid chewing.
Sorry.
We have to
It's okay.
multitask for sure.
That's exactly it. That's why we have these funds. So thank you for that. Although it gets me a little nervous to hear that our threshold is going to 28.5 after this happens. And right, Norman, that's what I heard. 28.5. That's where we would be at. Okay, it gets me a little nervous because our internal threshold is 30%, and so we get into floating waters when we're above 30% in our public works trust fund. So yeah, I'm glad this is coming forward, but I also see that's a repayment right away. But between 9 to 10 months, this will be repaid back, and we'll be able to be back under our comfortable threshold. So I thank you for being very meticulously and very finding where we were able to pick this up. But colleagues, I also want to introduce Devan Satorsky, our new principal project coordinator. Devan Satorsky just accepted the principal project coordinator last week, and so we welcome her to really lead on this project. She's really going to be overseeing the deliverables and the work of the California Youth for All grant. It's large, and so we're building a little, I would say, a mini team, which includes Devan Satarsky. We have also our Clean LA folks that are doing some of the work, as you know, Kevin Gresham and Gabe Gutierrez. And then we're in the midst of hiring somebody to also be a project coordinator for the edible food compost projects that we have. And we're also going to hire, based on today's authorization recommendation number 6, hire a project coordinator that will be overseeing the LA River Rangers program. So Devan's gonna head on that team. She's gonna make sure that we meet all of our deliverables, that the federal grant is happy with us, the state grant, that we are making sure we're cleaning the river, cleaning the streets, and making sure we're composting our food. So Devan, welcome and congratulations. This is Devan, this is our commissioners.
Hi everyone. Thank you, President Garcia. I have been to the board before on our workforce equity development item, so I'm excited to kind of transition into this, which is youth workforce equity. So kind of bringing those pieces together, and we're planning to hire 342 youth, which is amazing. Clean LA has already kicked off, and we've hired about 35 youth since August, or transitioned them, the youth portion from the Clean LA program into the youth portion, so the grant will fund that. And then exciting news, we should be kicking off River Rangers in the next 2 weeks. We're coordinating with the mayor's office and EWDD to get that bulletin posted and get those started. So lots of exciting things coming. Once we have more staff, it'll be great, and can really use the full force of this grant and all the money the state, awarded us to get the program up and running and to measure our success and really get people hired. And most of our projects are to continue to clean and beautify the city. So working closely with OCB, but with Clean LA and River Rangers, really continuing those goals of creating a clean and livable city. And then also sustainability goals on the composting and food waste recovery. So there's a lot of exciting things going on, and I'm excited to be working on this project.
All right, this is very exciting. And so you'll see Devan more around our offices and really heading on this work. But another plug, we will have a table that Devan and her team is going to host on our career fair to hire River Rangers folks, to hire Clean LA folks, and to hopefully fulfill some of these food composting positions. So we're excited to include our OCD office and Devan's position and her team into the fold of the career fair, so that we can, obviously maximize the resources there. But also, Devan, I know that you are also working with EWDD and the Youth Source Center and the Youth Development Department to recruit some of to get some recruits in, right?
Yes, correct. EWDD has been a big help there, helping us with our bulletin, and we're hoping to have that posted in the next 2 weeks to start recruit for River Rangers to start staff in January. And then the Youth Development Department is helping us with some strategies of how to recruit the youth. We're also partnered with our local CBOs, a lot of the ones we already work with, who all target different neighborhoods of the city. So we have CBOs specifically working in the Valley, working in Central LA, South LA, East LA. So we have really a good group of CBOs that are able to assist us with their, main effort being that outreach and strategy to the community. So they're really good partners to help us get everything ramped up.
Yep, great. So colleagues, if you see vests out there that say, Public Works Clean, we have our Clean LA folks now with vests, and then Devon's about to order vest also for our River Ranger folks. So you'll see them out there with vests. We're really trying to uniform a lot of the services that we're out there so that we can see when we're out there as well. Oh, there it is. If you see Dr. Campos, he's showing the vest. That's our Clean LA vest. And so we've already distributed quite a few of those. I would say almost like 300. But we're going to also order some for River Rangers, and so we're really trying to get our folks to be out there and with a visual of that. We are paying attention to our streets, we are paying attention to our river, and obviously our composting. So, Vice President Villegas.
Thanks. I just wanted to. Just applaud the city for doing this effort and the good partnership that we're going to be having with nonprofits. It's really difficult for nonprofits sometimes to be able to front fund these types of programs. So the fact that the city is taking on that burden, and we're obviously using our public trust fund, and then we'll be repaying it. And as a public servant, I think that this is a good use of our money in helping out the nonprofit community as well.
And so just to tie in 2 points, I'm saying to tie it about last week or maybe a couple of weeks ago, we, the board, approved an RFQ of contractors for beautification services. That it's still ongoing. I believe due date is December 16th.
Correct.
December 16th, right? 16th,
yeah.
Yeah. And so please, we would want a robust set of contractors, of new community nonprofits that can partner with the city. And so we're looking forward to having that list. And out of that list, Devon will be able to contract for more folks to either do River Ranger work, Clean LA work, and or the food composting work. So, that's also something that we have ongoing in the background, colleagues, and hoping that we can get a good list there of contractors by December 16th. All right, so I am fully happy with all of this, and I do agree this is good use of our money, Vice President Villegas. So with that, are there any other questions, colleagues? Any comments? Any objections? Hearing none, is there a motion at the table to move item number 5 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second? I'll second. So there's Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by me to move item number 5 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you so much. By the way, Devon and Norman, when we're out there at the cleaning the river, please invite us. I know that our commissioners will be more than happy to go out there and help out.
Awesome. Thank you for your support.
They'll get a vest too, by the way.
Yes, we ordered extras. I was working on that right before this meeting, actually. So we're on our way.
All right. Well, Devon, Norman, good job. Thank you, Norman, for, again, your very detailed work that you do. We appreciate that. It's a really an asset. You're an asset to our department. So thank you, Norman. With that said, thank you both, Norman and Yvonne. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your Friday, and I look forward to all the upcoming good work.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye. All right, moving on. to item number 6. This is in a request from Bureau of Contract Administration and the Bureau of Street Lighting Council Districts 2, 4, and 6. This is a contract acceptance, Van Nuys Sherman Oaks series to multiple high voltage conversion fiscal year 2015-2016 street lighting project. Recommending the board to 1, accept this contract. 2, assess R&H Industries DBA Best Electric with a penalty in the amount of $8,360 for the illegal subcontractor substitution of one bid listed OBE subcontractor. 3, instruct the Director of Office of Accounting to disencumber the recommended city penalty in the amount of $8,360 from the project fund. 4, approve the forfeiture from the final payment in the amount of $17,024.82 for employee back pay restitution for underpayment of prevailing wages and failure to report all days and hours worked. And 5, instruct the Director of Bureau of Accounting to prepare a draft in the amount of $17,024.82 payable to the state of California. The draft should be forwarded to the Bureau of Contract Administration, Office of Contract Compliance for processing to the California Labor Commission. And we have Mr. Chris Jensen and Ms. Patricia Fueyas here this morning to tell us what's going on. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, President Garcia, VP Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioner Corsand, and Commissioner Reyes. I'll be discussing the first part of the board report, which is the unauthorized subcontractor substitution for one bid listed OBE subcontractor. Excuse me. So the BCA is recommending a penalty against Best Electric in the amount of $8,360 for the unauthorized subcontractor substitution of one bid listed OBE subcontractor, which is Gimel Construction. Best Electric bid listed Gimel Construction for $140,000. In review of the project, BCE found that Best Electric did not use Gimel at all. Instead, Best Electric self-performed the work without going through the city's subcontractor substitution approval process. As a result, BCA sent a notice to Best Electric, initially penalizing them for $14,000, which is 10% of the subcontractor's bid listed amount. However, BCA was able to verify that city-issued change orders reduced the subcontractor amount to $83,000. Therefore, BCA recommends that the penalty against Best Electric should be $8,360, which is 10% of the reduced bid listed subcontract amount. Does anybody have questions?
Not at this time.
Thank you.
But I believe the second part of the report is by Chris Jensen, right?
Yes, it is.
That is correct.
Good morning, Madam President and Commissioners. My name is Chris Jensen. I am the Labor Compliance Officer for the City of Los Angeles. And I'm here this morning to present the Bureau's report on Best Electric on the Van Nuys Sherman Oaks Series to Multiple project. However, there's a rather unusual set of circumstances here that makes it necessary for me to also discuss another project that Best Electric did. That was the Pacoima Sylmar Series to Multiple project. The two are very closely related. They were going on at the same time. They really need to be addressed together. We had one analyst working on both projects. That was Araceli Wells of our staff. She noticed that the certified payrolls indicated that the workers were all working less than 8 hours, 5, 6, 7 hours every day. But when the workers were interviewed at the job site, they all said they worked 8 hours every day. She contacted our project inspector to verify that. Project inspector said, yes, absolutely, they're here 8 hours every day. She went a step further and asked the project manager for best subcontractor on the project. The project manager for the subcontractor said, they're here when we get here. They're here sometimes when we leave, and we do an 8-hour day every day. So obviously, yes, they're there at least 8 hours every day. Understandably, we did an audit of Best's records. Our audit showed some improprieties. Some things were not right. There were no timesheets or canceled checks. The pay stubs did not list the hours worked as required by law. And we found 2 workers who were interviewed on the job site, but they were not on the payroll on the day that they were interviewed. We did an assessment on Best Electric for roughly about $117,000 on this particular project, Van Nuys Sherman Oaks, for underpaying prevailing wage, underreporting workers, and underreporting hours for 22 different workers. Best Electric paid that restitution and the penalties for the workers. That should have resolved it. It did, in our minds, resolve that. However, about 2 days after we started giving the checks out, we got a call, an anonymous phone call from one of the workers, informing us that their foreman was going around and telling all the workers that that's not their money. They have to give that money back. So they're supposed to cash the check and then turn around and give the cash back to the company. There's a big problem with that. If they didn't do that, they were going to be fired. The problem is this is a federal felony. It's called a kickback. It's a violation of the Copeland Act. We immediately brought the owner of the company in and had him sit down for a meeting. And during the course of that meeting, Mr. Rowe is his name, he admitted everything. He had come up with this as a scheme himself to keep the money. He asked his foreman to go out and tell the workers to give the money back. The foreman was also with him in the meeting. Foreman never said a word. He just sat there, kept his eyes away from us. It turned out that Best had also forged signatures, forged workers' signatures, and they had asked their workers to sign some blank timesheets, which they could then turn around and put in however many hours they wanted to write in later on, just to make it look good. There were 2 different types of workers on this project. There were laborers who should have received around $51 an hour, and electricians who should have received roughly about $70 an hour. So you can see even an hour or 2 of pay a day is a significant hit to those individuals, those workers. Our office deals with a wide variety of violations, from human errors, where a rate changes, it goes up 85 cents and they're still paying the old rate. They don't realize it. Human honest mistakes, to willful, deliberate, and intentional attempts to commit fraud. That's what was going on here. This was an attempt to steal from the workers, to steal from the city, and to cheat the honest, reputable contractors that are out there that are bidding on projects for the city from the work. Because if Best Electric could underbid, knowing that they weren't going to pay prevailing wage, the good contractors wouldn't get the job. So to resolve this, we had Mr. Rowe issue cashier's checks so he could not trace those checks. We distributed them to the workers. We informed Mr. Rowe that if there were any further problems, we'd turn him over to the Federal Department of Labor, and he could be looking at some serious prison time. He, as I said, he was in tears. He did not want to do anything like that. He said he admitted everything. He wanted to clean it up. Okay. This was all for work on this particular project, the Van Nuys Sherman Oaks project. I said earlier that there were 2 different projects we needed to mention. The other was the Pacoima Sylmar series to multiple project. They were doing the exact same thing on that project. We issued an assessment on that project for roughly about $85,000 for the same thing: underreporting hours, underreporting days, underpaying wages, or not paying wages. Mr. Rowe said to us that he did not have enough funds to cover the assessment and proposed that the funds be taken from this project, Van Nuys Sherman Oaks. He issued an assignment of funds to the city in the amount of $17,024.82 on this project. And on the on the Pacoima-Sylmar project, he issued a second assignment of funds for $55,278.88. The two total together $72,303.70. I said earlier that our original assessment was about $85,000. There's a difference there. That amount came down $13,000. The reason that came down is, as a state certified labor compliance program, we have to get the director of the state Department of Industrial Relations approval. They agreed with our assessment. They felt that the higher penalty was not in correct relation, they felt, to the amount of the penalties, so they lowered the penalties somewhat. The grand total that we have outstanding on the two projects together is $32,853. I'm sorry, this is just for the other one. My mistake, just for the other one, for Pacoima-Sylmar. $32,853.70 and $39,450 in penalties. That goes to the city, which totals the $72,303.70 that I mentioned earlier. This is a little bit unusual, as I said. We took this to Ted Jordan, our city attorney. Ted is here today, he's present today. Ted blessed the assignment of funds to cover the shortage on this project. So what we are asking for today is your approval to withhold the $17,024.82 on this project that Mr. Rowe, the owner of the company, has already agreed to. And then we would transfer that money to the state for distribution to the workers. When the Pacoima-Sylmar project comes back to the board, we will come back to you, either myself or one of our staff, and we'll ask for the additional forfeiture of the $55,278.88. I know it's a little convoluted. Sorry, it's what we had to deal with on this. If you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen, for that very thorough and detailed report that you just gave us. You gave us a picture of what you have been working with these past couple of months and what brought you here. Colleagues, any questions on this item? There's a lot to unpack here, so I hope that I hope everybody was briefed. Was everybody briefed?
Yes.
Okay, good. On these types of items, I really want to make sure that our commissioners are briefed beforehand, because there's just a lot of questions that we have. So that would make it. Mr. Jordan, is there anything you would like to add on this item? Since I know it's, we're imposing two penalties here.
No, I don't. I concur with the recommendations. And I apologize. I'm not sure if staff here has indicated whether or not the contractor is present here for this hearing, but I do think it's important that we at least establish for our record whether they're here, and if they're not here, whether they've been advised of this hearing and told that they could come and speak if they chose to.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. You are correct. I did mention that when we did the board presentation last week. They have been notified. They've indicated that no, they did not want to appear before the board.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Any questions, colleagues? Commissioner Reyes.
Not the question, but to thank staff, especially the one who audited and found the egregious, it's not an error, but action that the contractor has taken, because those are public funds. We have to be really cautious about how they're being spent, and our rules are rules. They are there for a purpose. So please extend on behalf of our board a gratitude to the staff who found out this issue.
That was Araceli Wells, and thank you, Commissioner Reyes. I will be more than happy to pass that on to her.
Thank you for that, and I appreciate that we have been looking out for our workers as well. You know that at the end of the day, they're the ones that get sidetracked over, not sidetracked, but blindsided over this because they don't have the full, thorough information of what their rights are. And so, in this case, thank you for making sure that our workers are brought up to a fair and standard wage that they should have been getting paid anyway.
Absolutely.
And it was significant, right? It was a very significant pay rate, as my understanding. I think you said they were getting paid $20 an hour, and they should have been getting paid.
They should have gotten the laborers 51, the electricians about 70, but we assess as if they were not paid anything for those hours because they did not pay them for those hours. So what they did, they would pay them the correct rate, but they would lower the number of hours. In our industry, it's called shaving hours. You worked for 8, but we pay you for 6.
It's tantamount to like wage theft.
Exactly, wage theft. Exactly what it is.
Yeah. Wow. Well, in this case, I'm very glad we were able to make sure that the employees were getting what they deserved. Thank you. All right. Any other points of discussion, colleagues? Any objections?
If I could offer
Sure.
one thing, I made a suggestion to Commissioner Corson last week, and he agreed. If any of the commissioners would like a briefing on what the labor compliance section does, I would be more than happy to set something up either in person or virtually.
Okay. We'll take you up on that, Chris. All right, we'll set something up so that we can get, anyways, these type of policies and they change a lot, or there's new ones, and we're upcoming to a new year. I also want to hear what we should be paying attention to 2023 and beyond. So if there's any changes around this industry wage and prevailing wage workaround. So make sure when we do get briefed, I want to hear kind of the new stuff as well and what we should be paying attention to.
We'll be happy to do that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Okay, well, I'm not hearing any objections to move this forward. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 6 forward and forthwith?
So
Moved. Oh, second.
Okay, I'll take a first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 6 forward and forthwith. Dr. Campos?
So we'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, it is 12:20 now. Do you guys want to take about a 5-minute break or
Great.
should we keep going? I'm just taking temperature. 5-minute break. Yeah, let's do a 5-minute break. It's 2 hours already here on the seat. I'll see you guys at it's 12:16 at 12:15, 12:21, something like that.
Oh man.
Dr. Campos? Don't think he's back, but we're getting ourselves together to get started soon. So if you can hear me, commissioners, we'll be kind of rounding up again, and I'm just waiting for Dr. Campos to come back. Thank you. I just sent them a quick text, so hopefully he'll see my text as well. Dr. Campos, we're ready when you're ready.
Yes, I can establish quorum for you. Let's double check the time, 12:24. President Garcia, we're now back in record mode. I can go ahead and establish quorum for you.
Yes, please.
It is now 12:24 for Friday, November 4th, 2022. Reestablishing quorum and roll call. We have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Corzan and Reyes. President Garcia, you do have a quorum.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Campos, for that. And thank you all. Welcome back for our very short break that we just had. I hope everybody got water and some granola bars in us. But other than that, let's move forward to item number 7. We have Ethan Wong here waiting eagerly to say his report. This is a request from in Council District 4. This is a budget increase, sole source procurement of equipment in change order number 1 JF. Shia Construction Inc., Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant Preliminary Treatment Improvements, CIP 4185. Recommending the board to 1, authorize $1,661,000 in additional contingency and approve a revised construction budget of $10,271,000 for the contract. 2, authorize the city engineer to issue change order number 1 to sole source process equipment and services for a not to exceed amount of $316,000. And 3, authorize the director of Bureau of Sanitation to request the city engineer to increase the not to exceed amount for the sole source procurement equipment of $316,000 for a total authority of a not to exceed amount of $1,652,000. And we have this morning here Mr. Wong that will let us know what you're asking for.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is Ethan Wong with the Bureau of Engineering's Environmental Engineering Division. So the report before you is for our project with the Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant to improve the preliminary treatment facilities at the plant. So preliminary treatment is basically the first line of treatment that happens at the plant. So screening of large debris or grit happens at this stage before the wastewater is introduced to actual biological treatment at the plant. So this project will install large influent pumps, which basically are the driver of moving the wastewater into the plant processes. Variable frequency drives, control valves, actuators, flow meters, and other appurtenances. Also grit pumps, control valves, actuators, access platforms and bypasses, local control panels and programmable logic controllers, accelerometers, services, and other electrical equipment. So originally the board awarded the contract to JF Shea Incorporated on January 21st, 2022 for an amount of $8,196,000 with a contingency amount of $414,000 for an overall construction budget of $8,610,000 to construct this project. As part of this project, we have several sole source equipment that were previously approved by the Board of Public Works back in June 28th, 2019, December 6th, 2019, and September 11th, 2020. Several pieces of equipment were approved. Since that time, due to various factors throughout the globe and in the entire construction and commodity industry and other industries, raw material prices, including steel and other materials needed to build pumps and valves and actuators, have increased dramatically. All of these, and in addition to that, the cost increases of materials, supply chain issues have also increased the costs of fabricating items like pumps and valves and other electronic equipment. So because these items are sole source for this construction project, we have a series of fixed cost allowances that allow the contractor to purchase these equipment and be reimbursed by the city. These amounts are previously negotiated by the city with these sole source vendors and appear in the contractor's contract as the allowances. Once the contractor makes purchase, the city will then authorize what's called an allowance order to reimburse the contractor from these bid items. Because in this case, these allowance items do not now equate to the full amount of the cost to procure these sole source items, we're asking for a request to issue change orders in the amount of $316,000 to cover the additional costs for these sole source items. And these are broken down into 5 different items. So there are 3 Worthington influent pumps that are manufactured by Flowserve. The original approved sole source amount was $780,000. The new cost is now $841,000 for a delta of $61,000. There are 9 plugs by Milliken and 15 Rotork actuators that were originally approved at $136,000 that are now $265,000 for a delta of $129,000. There are 2 magnetic flow meters by Krone, one 36-inch, a rather large one, and at one 6-inch. Originally approved at $70,000 are now $190,000, so that's a delta of $120,000. There are 3 Allen & Bradley VFDs. This one item actually did see a price decrease from $255,000 to $216,000. That's a delta of $39,000 credit. And then Allen & Bradley programmable logic controllers, originally approved at $95,000 are now $140,000 for a delta of $45,000. So this is where the $316,000 increase comes for, and will be issued by change order to the contractor if approved by the board today. In addition to the request to issue this change order, we are also requesting additional contingency for the project, as the notice to proceed for the project was issued in April of earlier this year, and we were notified of these price increases shortly after that time by both the contractor and the sole source vendors. Obviously, we're still fairly early in the construction phase because the original contingency was only $414,000. The issuance of this change order will exhaust the bulk of that contingency because we are potentially identifying some future change orders that may come about. We are now requesting the additional contingency of $1,661,000 to address any future change orders that come across through the construction of this project. That covers all the items for this board report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time regarding that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Wong, for that report. Colleagues, any questions on this item? No questions. Any concerns, points of discussions? No? Any objections? All right. Well, Ethan, it's a Friday. You should always book this on Fridays. Seems like be a good day. All right. I don't hear any questions. It is a sole source. No questions on that. Okay. I think we all trust you, Mr. Ethan, that you're making the right choice here, and you've done your homework behind this. I don't have any questions. I know that this is important and we need to get this done. So I appreciate. And the delta doesn't seem to be that much, right? I'm trying to see. No, it doesn't actually.
It equates to roughly like 23% increase on the.
Oh yeah, that's significant though. Okay, well, understood. I know things have gone up, inflation's up, gas is up, everything's up. So I understand how this is, it's just the time. So we're gonna have to start moving into those times of higher costs. I understand that. Okay, well, hearing that no one has objections for this, is there a motion on the table to move item number 7 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Vice President Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 7 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Wong. You are good to go now.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too. Have a good weekend. Moving on to item number 8. This is in Council District 4, contract award, Maladin Butnick Construction Company, Inc., North Alpha Sewer Rehabilitation Unit 30, Colfax and Witsit. Recommending the board to 1, declare Maladin, I hope I'm saying it right, and Butnick Construction Company, Inc., the apparent second low bidder who became the first low bidder after the local business preference was applied, to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award Maladin Butnick a contract for this project for $14,261,142, and 2, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. And who do we have here? Oh, Mr. Arrington, good morning.
Good morning,
And,
Mr. Garcia.
Mr. Lopez, you're here for this item too?
Yes.
Good.
Just answer questions.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome, and please, Mr. Arrington, we're ready for you.
All right. Well, thank you, President Garcia. Again, my name is Edward Arrington with the Bureau of Engineering. And the item before you, Commissioners, has to do with, as indicated, awarding of the North Alpha Sewer Rehabilitation Unit 30 project. The project essentially is going to rehabilitate approximately 4,800 linear feet of aged and dilapidated sewer that is in dire need of repair and rehabilitation. The project is near Studio City, essentially close to the 101 and the 170 freeway junction. In particular, project runs along Woodridge Street from Witsit Avenue in the east to Colfax Avenue in the west. The scope of the project is essentially rehabilitating a variety of different size sewers along this alignment, including a 39-inch, a 42-inch, a 48-inch, and a 57-inch round and semi-elliptical concrete pipe. The pipe are approximately 85 years old, so they're in dire need of having to be rehabilitated. And in addition to that, we are also installing approximately 2,600 linear feet of clay pipe as a secondary sewer. And the intent of this is, of course, to ensure that we mitigate odors along this corridor so that there will be no concerns from local residents. The project has been presented to Council District Number 4. They were briefed on the project, are in support of this project, including the peak hour exemptions that we're going to need as part of this project. In terms of duration for the project will be approximately 785 calendar days, or just a bit over 2 years for get the whole project completed. In regards to environmental consideration, it was determined to be categorically exempt pursuant to the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act. And as it relates to the city engineer's estimate, the estimate for this project per the city was listed as 12,290,763. So with this project going out to bid, we did receive 6 bids on this 10-year project, of which the two lowest bidders are listed on the board report. The first low bidder was Lucas Builders Inc. for a bid amount of $13,491,961. The second low bidder was Mladen Buntich for $14,261,142. Now, of course, due to Mladen Buntich qualifying under the local business preference program at the time of bid, the order bids were revised for the purpose of evaluation, such that Mladen Buntich became the lowest apparent bidder with $13,261,142, while Lucas remained at its proposed bid as now becoming the second lowest apparent bidder with $13,491,961. In regards to evaluation of the bid documents, particularly as it relates to mandatory local business preference program for use in city-funded contracts, the local business program must be listed in LA Babin, of course, prior to the bid date. And in that regard, also that is how the bidders are evaluated. As such, looking at these particular bids, Mladen Buntich was identified as being certified as part of the local business program. In terms of our business inclusion program, the evaluation was conducted for Lucas Builders and for Mladen Buntich, both by the Bureau of Contract Administration Office of Contract Compliance. Upon their review, it was determined that, of course, Lucas Builders passed their bid outreach evaluation. In addition, when the outreach effort evaluation was conducted for Mladen Buntich as well, it was also determined that they also passed the BIP outreach evaluation assessment. Now, furthermore, in regards to subcontracting participation, the mandatory subcontracting minimum for this project is 25%, and Lucas Builder has pledged a participation of 34.9%, and Mladen Buntich has pledged a effort of 34.5%, and thereby exceeding the required minimum. In addition to this, the project does fall and will follow a project labor agreement as indicated in the board report. In regards to funds, there is no impact to the general fund. The total funding of this project is coming out of the sewers construction fund, and it's not to exceed $14,974,199. So in light of that, commissioners, staff finds that the bid by Mladen Buntich is reasonable, and as such recommends the board declare Mladen Buntich as the lowest responsible bidder and award Mladen Buntich the contract for this project. With that, I can entertain any questions you may have.
Great, thank you, Mr. Arrington. Sorry, I totally blew their name.
No problem.
Next time, I'm just gonna get a way of spelling their name. So apologies for that on my end. All right, well, colleagues, any questions on this item? Any concerns?
In terms of the inclusion of small businesses and other, we wouldn't have. Do we have any pledges from Buntich as it relates to inclusion on this project? Did you address that, Arrington?
They did not list anything per se. They have some listing under minority business enterprise, and of course, as other listings related to other categories, but not in that relation.
Okay.
But we can verify more deeply with contract administration.
Yeah, Ms. Reyes?
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. Hi, thank you. It looks like there were 2 small business enterprises that were bid listed by Mladen Buntich.
Oh, 2 small business enterprises?
Yes,
2
sir.
SB. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Okay, no women owned businesses and none of the others, huh?
One minority business enterprise, one emerging business enterprise, Commissioner Davis.
Great, thank you.
Great. Mr. Arrington, was the first low bidder notified, and were they notified to this hearing, and have they received notice that they were not the awardee?
Yes, ma'am. That is a routine procedure from our Process Award and Control Division. And so, yes, they were notified and they were aware of the recommendations of this report.
And they were in concurrence with you?
Well, we didn't hear anything direct or no direct response per se. Usually what happens is if they have an objection, of course, you will definitely hear that, and they'll definitely reach out to you. Nothing has been recorded as they either party reaching out to us in that regard.
Okay, understood then. Patricia, anything on your end?
Nothing else to add. Thank you, President Garcia.
Okay, we just always want to make sure that it's a very thorough and transparent process, and that they also have the right to oppose if they need to, so we can hear that out. But given that we move from one lower bidder to another because of the local preference, business preference, I just wanted to make sure that everybody was clear and there was no opposition or no adversity with this, right?
Yeah, there's been no formal direct communication from them indicating that upon receipt of the draft board report that they were going to be objective.
Okay, understood. All right. Well, I also want to say thank you for including the PLA project into this. You know, anytime we can do that, we are very more than happy to do that. That increases job opportunities to many of our folks, and especially many of our above the 30 age range that have, need a second opportunity to enjoy, excel in their skills. So thank you for doing that. And as many times, again, we'll say it as the board, as many times we can include a PLA project, please do so. And I thank you, Mr. Arrington, to making this a holistic type of a project.
Thank you, ma'am, and I thank the rest of our team in getting this project out.
All right, give me one. You're not quite ready to go. We have to vote on this, and then we'll let you go. All right, colleagues, is there a motion on the table to move item number 8 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 8 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Edward Arrington, Ms. Fuentes, and Mr. Lopez for being here and making sure that you guys had all your bases covered. And with that, thank you all. Have a good rest of the weekend then.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye. All right, moving on to item number 9. This is a Council District 11. This is an AFE tax collector, Kern Delta Water District. Bureau of Sanitation and Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority expenditure in the amount of $70,000 to encumber funds for the payment of water utility charges to be incurred at the Green Acres Farm for the period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. And I believe I can take item number 10 together, right, Mr. Trent?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to read number 10 into the record. This is item number 10 in Council District 11. This is an AFE for Pacific Gas and Electric Company. Bureau of Sanitation and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of the authority of expenditure for the amount of $380,000 to encumber funds to pay for electricity utility charges to be incurred during operations at the Green Acres Farm for the period of July 1st 2022 through June 30th, 2023. And with that, we have Mr. Tran here this morning or afternoon now. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, Madam President Garcia, Board Commissioners, Mr. Ted Jordan, and Dr. Campos. My name is Alan Tran with Allison. Today, I'm here to present two AAs. The first one is to request to encumber funds to pay for the current Delta water utility usage at Guinaco Farm for farming operation. The current Delta water is one of the three sources of water that we use for the farming irrigation. The other two sources are the second effluent from the City Bakerfield treatment plant number 3 and groundwater from existing wells at Guinaco Farm. We only purchase the current Delta water when it's available and whenever we need additional water to irrigate the crops, especially in the summertime. The request amount is $70,000, and this will cover from July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2023. The funding comes from the sewer operation and maintenance funds. Therefore, there is no impact on general funding. That concludes the presentation on the first item. The second one is to request the encumbered funds to pay for the PG&E electricity utility charge at Guinaco Farm for farming operation. The majority of the electricity usage is for the big water pump at the groundwater wells and the small water pump to move the irrigation water across the field. We also use the electricity for the office, conference center, and the repair shop. The request amount is $380,000, and this will cover from July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2023. The fund also comes from the sewer operation and maintenance fund. Therefore, there will be no impact on the general funding. And that's conclude my report.
Thank you, Mr. Tran, for that report. Any questions, colleagues? Any objections to paying our bills? We gotta pay the water and the power. We have to do it. What can we do? All right, Mr. Tran, you give us no option on this. Is there a motion to move items 9 and 10 forward?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. I'll second it. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by VP Villegas and myself to move items 9 and 10 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes. Commissioner Reyes, if you just confirm, I saw your lips move, and then I think the audio did not come through.
It's a yes.
Thank you. This motion is adopted and carries unanimous.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Tran. Go ahead and pay our bills now.
Thank you so much.
Have a good weekend, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 11, I'm going to take 11 and 12 together. This is an AFE. Is that you, Mr. Mink, for 11 and 12?
Yes, that's me. Thank you.
It's okay if I take them together, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me read it into the record. This is in all council districts. This is an AFE for South Coast Air Quality Management District. Bureau of Sanitation and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $50,000 to encumber funds for permit fees and related expenses for Clean Water Division generators for the term of July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Authorize the president or two members of the Board of Public Works to execute this service agreement. Item number 12, in all council districts, this is also an AFE for Southern California Edison Company. Bureau of Sanitation, and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $85,000 to encumber funds to pay for electrical services at Clean Water Collection Division, air scrubbers, and flow monitoring stations for the term of July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Authorize the president or two members of the Board of Public Works to execute the service agreement. And we have Mr. Menk here, who will tell us more about this. Mr. Menk?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Clint Mink with LA Sanitation Clean Water Conveyance Division. I'm here today to seek approval for two authorities of expenditure. So first, for AE 237-60620M, the Clean Water North Conveyance Division is seeking approval for an authority of expenditure with South Coast Air Quality Management District in the amount of $50,000. The division maintains emergency backup generators at 40 facilities, including sewage pumping plants, low flow diversions, and air treatment facilities. This encumbrance is necessary to pay for permit fees to operate the generators, and $50,000 represents the same amount that was requested last year. For item number 12, AE 237-60618M, the Clean Water South Conveyance Division is seeking approval for an authority for expenditure with Southern California Edison in the amount of $85,000. The division operates air scrubbers and flow monitoring stations in neighboring Culver City. This encumbrance will pay for electrical services at those facilities. The $85,000 represents the same amount the division encumbered last fiscal year. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Menk. Any questions, colleagues? Hearing none, any objections? Hearing none too. Great. Is there a motion on the table to move items 11 and 12 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Is there a second? I'll second. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by me to move items 11 and 12 forward and forthwith.
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone. And thank you, Mr. Menk, for your report this afternoon. You look very sharp on a Friday, like that blue suit you have going on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hope you all have a great weekend too.
You too. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, moving on to item number 13. Just FYI, colleagues, item number 14 has been continued to November 18th without any objections. We'll move it to November 18th. Got it. Thank you. Our last item of today is an oral report by the Bureau of Street Services, the status update on major upcoming street improvement projects. And who do we have here today from Bureau of Street Services?
We have Mr. Jorge Garcia.
Mr. Jorge Garcia, again. Mr. Garcia, are you here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
All right, well, we're ready for you. You're not on video, FYI.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know why it's not on. I don't see. Oh, I'm sorry. Here you go. Can you see me now? No?
No.
I'm clicking.
All right, no worries. We'll get the information and then you can figure that out for next week.
Good afternoon, President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, Dr. Campos, and I'm here for the Major Street Project update. And this information is being provided to keep the public informed of the upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays to the commuters. Streets LA would like to provide you with an update on all major upcoming street improvement projects. As of today, there are no major street projects scheduled for the Metro Region Valley for the week of 11/6 through 11/12/22. However, the following major project is scheduled in the Valley Resurfacing Region Program for the week of 11/6 through 11/12/22. Saturday 11/5 through Sunday 11/13 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll begin commingling and paving to Mescal Canyon Road, Sunset Boulevard to Pacific Coast Highway and CD 11. Bel Air Beverly Crest Neighborhood Council Paving Preservation Program Fund. Additionally, we would like to provide you with an update on our 22-23 preservation program. I'm sorry about that. I'm a little cold in this room here. During the week of 11/6 through 11/12, the Metro region will complete 7 projects for a total of 3.49 lane miles. And the Valley region will complete 9 projects for a total of 4.61 lane miles. And that's it for our project. Now, the press releases were broadcasted and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the City Council district offices to assist the outreach to stakeholders. And we have coordinated with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available on the Streets LA website, streetsla.lacity.org. For additional information or concerns, you may contact Mr. Sherrod Nichols at 213-847-3200. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Garcia. We gotta make sure that Keith knows he has to pay the gas bills to get some heat in there.
Yeah, tell me about it. I make sure there's a little room and like, got to chill there. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We gotta talk to Keith about that. All right, sir. Well, is there any questions, colleagues? No. Okay. That you're good to go, Mr. Garcia. Thank you for your time this afternoon, and have a good weekend.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, colleagues, we have reached the end of our meeting. Dr. Campos, have we cleared today's desk?
Yes, you have.
Great. Colleagues, it is now 12:59 on Friday, November 4th, and this meeting's now officially adjourned. If you guys can hang on for a few minutes and we'll have a quick management meeting. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day.